Peace family, welcome back to the channel. So I want to talk about North Korea real quick. And North Korea has just claimed their first COVID infection, and that's huge, and that's something we got to look at deep, because out of the entire world that's being infected, now North Korea's in it. But before they claimed they had an infected in person, they joined now, which is the race in the vaccine. And that's big. Why? Because now all the countries are joining in and putting up all this quote unquote money to get this vaccine. There are over 140 different vaccines that are being worked on. And that is crazy. But what I want you guys to do is remember this date, July 20th. Okay? Remember that date, July 20th. I'll go back over here. Now I'm going to let this video run, and we're going to break it down.
North Korean leader Kim Jong-un called an emergency meeting over the weekend. This after Pyongyang reported its first suspected coronavirus case. The infection being connected to a defector who crossed back into the north illegally about a week ago. Police in South Korea say the man was fleeing arrest. Paula Hancock's with more from Seoul.
This is the closest North Korea has come to admitting that they may have a case of coronavirus within the country. Over the weekend, the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un convened an emergency Politburo meeting, saying that a defector who defected 3 years ago to the south had then returned to North Korea and showed symptoms of coronavirus. Now, according to state-run media, that individual was quarantined.
Now remember, they said he showed symptoms, not that he tested positive. He showed symptoms. Remember that, people. Symptoms.
And we understand from KCNA also that areas along the border of Kaesong City, some areas have been isolated as well. Now, from the South Korean side of things, the military admits that they do believe that an individual defected back into North Korea just recently. And South Korean police also admit that.
And they're blaming this on South Korea. Remember that. They keep going back and forth with the divide of Korea with the North and South, and now they're blaming this on South Korea, right? Now I want you guys to see this. South Korea is here, North Korea is here, China's up here. So with China being ground zero, aka, so no infection came in through here, but from South Korea, somebody was quote unquote having symptoms and came into North Korea. They're just playing with you. They're playing with your minds, guys. Open up that third eye and realize that they're just playing with you. This is just more BS for the masses. Wake up. Think about that, people. I'm gonna go back to the video. We're gonna let it rock.
This man may have been fleeing arrest, that they were investigating him, and that he had been accused of a sex crime. Now, up until now, North Korea had claimed they had 0 cases within the country, which many officials around the world questioned, given the fact that it shares a border with both China and South Korea. And this could be a convenient way of Pyongyang admitting that it does have cases within the country, while at the same time blaming South Korea for introducing it. Paula Hancock's CNN Seoul.
Bullcrap. Bullcrap. That's all it is. Now, I'm gonna go here to the John Hopkins map, right? And as we can see, China's here. Wuhan is right here. And you're gonna tell me South Korea or North Korea isn't completely hit, but the islands of Japan are? And another thing I wanted to point out, look at US's confirmed cases, right? Compared to these here, and last I know, everything here has more of a population than the United States. Yet, we're being infected at crazy rates. And again, things don't make sense. Doesn't make sense at all. Now, remember when I told you to remember the date of July 20th, right? Now, let's go back to Event 201 with Bill Gates and the conglomerates that were there when they were devising their or unveiling their plan for this scandemic that's going on. Now, I follow Gematria Effect News, which I would suggest that you all subscribe to and follow him because you're going to get a lot of great information. But let's go into his breakdown real quick. Let's run it.
True Seeker. Apparently, North Korea is so hardcore, even coronavirus is scared to go there. And I want you to see what a joke this is. North Korea supposedly just now getting its first coronavirus case or COVID-19.
It's a joke.
And again, it's just so pathetic. But the story goes, North Korea reported its first apparent COVID-19 case at a city near the border with South Korea, as leader Kim Jong-un enacted the country's maximum emergency system and warned officials to face up to the reality. The ill individual was a runaway who had gone to South Korea 3 years ago and had illegally crossed back into North Korea this July 19th. Really? Remember how we said to circle July 19th? Way back in February? July 19th, the 201st day of the year. And remember, Event 201 was the coronavirus outbreak simulation, and of course 201's the number of the Jesuits. The Jesuit order equals 201, just like Ignatius of Loyola equals 201, their founder. Just like how we have the first Jesuit pope in the history of the Catholic Church right now, Jorge Mario Bergoglio, which equals 201. Of course, he goes by the name Pope Francis. He's the first pope to live in Suite 201. The Domus Sancte Marte, which equals 201, and the list goes on. If you have Netflix, check out the show Containment about the CDC unleashing a virus and a conspiracy on the people of Atlanta. That show concluded July 19, 2016, the 201st day of the year. And don't forget what else happened that day. That's the day Adama Traore was killed in Paris, France, the home of the Jesuits, whose name is being celebrated, or should I say remembered, alongside George Floyd's name. Two men who were black, who were killed by white police officers in acts of what are called racism. Adama Traore killed on the 201st day of 2016. George Floyd killed exactly a span of 201 weeks later. And of course, George Perry Floyd equals 201. Just like Roxanne Washington, who's the mother of his child Gianna. Reminding of Kobe, who just died in a big Jesuit ritual. But again, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. It's just one more
So guys, it's up to you to make your own discernments. We have to look at all the information. We know they play with the numbers. They unveil the information with the numbers. And again, as we see, Event 201, it's big with the virus that shall not be named. And we need to look at the events of 201, and we can unveil what they're going to be doing to us. And as I said, keep looking at the numbers, keep looking at the information, and make your own discernment. Y'all can catch me on the flip side.